Welcome to WIZZKWIZ tutorial 10C on using transformations. Let's go straight in, and we're going to do a multiple choice question in which we're going to give the option of several different matrices to explain a physical transformation on the screen. So this is geometry. Okay, let's again put in and which of the following matrices represents the formation from the red square to the blue shape. Okay, so I'm going to put in left -7 to +7 and 3 to -3 fits this area of the screen really well, which is sort of designed really just to fit into the whole sort of structure. So -7 to 7 and 3 to -3 is fairly sensible. So like we did in the last tutorial, let's just have x-axis there and the y-axis. You see that fits quite nicely. Then let's have a rectangle which we're going to transform. So that's going to go from 0, 0 to 1, 1, as you can see there. But we want a transformation from the red square to the blue shape. So we want to make, we're saying basically want to make this red. So it's going to, we're going to do RGB 255 because that's how much red we want, that's how much blue we want, that's how much blue we want there, green we want there, and blue we want there. So click that, you can see it goes red. Let's make it a bit thicker. Line width, say 4. So we've got a nice chunky blue red shape there, and we're just using these transformations that you can see down here. Okay, so RGB there, and using line width there. Okay, but what we're going to use next is matrix, which goes x1, x2, y1, y2. Okay, so we've just done that rectangle. We're going to do another rectangle. Zero, 255. Well, at the moment that will just overlap. Okay, but we're going to do a matrix transformation. And this matrix transformation we're going to generate randomly, basically. Okay, so WM11 equals random step -2, 2, 1. So copy that, and basically each element is going to be generated the same way. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. And you can see we're producing different shapes. Each different matrix we generate randomly will randomly produce a different shape blue. Now this is quite tricky. Okay, it's an easy question to generate in a sense, but it's quite a tricky question to do. But that's, you know, depending on how good your students are, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, let's just correct the typo. So now we want to write out the different answers. Okay, so we're going to have to use LaTeX notation to write out a matrix, which is going to be a bit tricky. So it's going to be begin \begin p matrix, At the end of the matrix, we're going to do backslash end P matrix, and in the middle we put the numbers. So at the moment I'm just going 1 and 0, backslash backslash 0 and 1. Okay, I'll just check that does work. Okay, you can see, so my latex notation is now working, but what I need to do is replace the 1 with this thing, the next 0 with that thing, etc. Okay, so I replace my 1 there with that, my next 0 I replace, in fact I don't do that, that's very unwise because it would regenerate the random numbers. Okay, I want to keep the same random number there. Okay, so now you can see my random number generating there. Okay, so the 0 I'm going to replace with that, and it's going to be 1, 2. The 0 there, I'll replace with that, and it's going to be 2, 1, and the 1 there, I'll replace with that, and it's going to be 2, 2. Okay, so you can now see what's happening. So we've got the y-axis has become 2, minus 2, the x-axis has become 2, 1. Okay, you can basically read it off. It's actually, in a sense, quite an easy question, but it's quite a nice question if you've just taught matrices and they don't really realise what, you know, that's where the x goes and that's where the y goes. They don't realise that. It makes it quite a tricky question. Okay, so let's now just generate the thing now. What I'm going to do, and this is slightly cheeky and a bit of a shortcut, instead of knowing for certain that I'm not going to overlap the same answers, if I generate random answers on each of these 4, the chance of getting exactly the same matrix twice is pretty small. Also, there is an override in WIZZKWIZ which will not allow identical answers to appear twice. Okay, so if we just generate random answers by adding random plus or minus 1s to each of these, each of the values, each of the elements in the matrix, it's almost certainly not going to create an actual problem. Okay, so let's put in our wrong answers. All I'm going to have to do is put that in there, and then I'm going to do plus random step minus 1, comma 1, comma 1. Okay, so you can see randomly generated answer there, but I'm going to put that in for each of these. So it is 3 to the power 1 in 3 to the power 4 that I will get the same answer. So 1 in 81 that I'll get the same answer, and there is an override. If you get exactly the same answer, WIZZKWIZ will just resend up to the regenerate the same question. So it does actually have an override in that anyway. So a bit of a rough and ready question, a bit crude in a way the way I've done that, because you do get the problem of the x and y being swapped over symmetrically and getting the same answer as well. But you could sort of see the point of how I can use this transformation in the graphics, relate that with the latex notation, and produce what, you know, actually produces quite a nice question. So let's have a look. I don't think there's anything else we need to do there. That's all working fine. Submit question. ID 3294. So let's have a go with that and see what we get. Okay. So what have we got? Well, one coordinate's gone to 2, 0. The other's gone to minus, sorry, 0, 2. The other's gone to minus 1, 2. Okay. So that looks like the right answer. Let's try again. One's gone to -2, 1. Yeah, and the other's gone to -1, -1. Okay. So when students first come across matrices, that might seem like quite a difficult question, but actually since I've done it there with the unit rectangle, it's actually a relatively easy question once you know what you're doing. Well, you can see how the transformations there work. That's just the matrix one. We can do rotation, enlargement, various things like that as well. So if you have a look in the tutorial section, you can see we've just used matrix there. Okay, but you can also just use move, you can use enlarge, you can use rotate. And there's huge flexibility in creating different types of questions. Okay, there's also repeat, which I'll probably do another tutorial on because it's a bit more subtle how you use that, and almost more useful at a lower level. You can actually generate questions which like pre-number counting questions, that sort of thing with that. Less useful at higher level maths actually, but more useful at lower level maths. And I'll probably do another tutorial on that. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense, and we can see how how much power and flexibility there is to ask questions using that kind of technique.